Join us as we uncover the symbols, the stories, explore the mysteries, the power, and the legacy of a kingdom that is still unfolding. This is a journey where history, prophecy, power, and people converge, and the story is still being written, from ancient kingdoms to the spaces where modern voices meet. Voices that refuse to be silenced, part of a heritage that continues to shape the present. The past is not dead, it lives, it speaks. And here, we listen, we reason, we respond, and we testify. We dive into ancient truths, symbols, and signs still relevant today. The scepter has not departed, the mystery is not lost, and the kingdom, it is still unfolding, one episode at a time. This is more than a podcast, it's a return to the source. Welcome to the Scepter of Zion, where ancient truths meet modern voices. And now, to conversations, truth, and power, the scroll begins to open, and here to guide us through the gates, your trusted voice and seasoned guide, a voice for the remnant, your host, Ruben B.
Oh, what's up with the clapping? That's all I get, just this little short clap. That's all, that's it. Wow. Okay. Anyway, the Queen's history. History speaks loudly of kings and conquerors. It names wars, crowns, victories, and records. The fall of empires, but beneath the noise of banner and battles, there are voices history chose to whisper. Hey, yeah, but you know what? This queen over here, she did a great job. She really did. I couldn't have did it without her. There were queens who ruled without always sitting on thrones. Women whose power moved through courts, libraries, household, and schools. They shaped our Andalus not only through linkage or lineage, but through intellect and vision. They funded centers of learning while men claimed the credit. Imagine that. They did all the work, and here this dude come. Old raggedy, broke down dude, putting his name on something that he had nothing to do. This queen of history did it. She did it. They preserved culture while armies march. They raised rulers, protect scholars, advise kings, and turn cities into beacons of science and poetry and law. Their names were often shortened, erased, right? Well, why? But you know what? Their influence was undeniable. So this is not a revision of history. It's a recover. This is the story of the Queen's history. Whisper, whisper about women. The unseen architect of mothers of civilization whose legacy still echo in stone, in scripts, in silence. Welcome to the Scepter of Zion. We are these modern voices. I'm going to tell you a little bit about these women of power in civilizations. Mothers of knowledge seem to always get overlooked for some odd reason. They don't want these sisters, these females, to have any credit, knowing that they played a big part in keeping things in order. In scriptures, the ancient tradition, Knowledge is not only transferred through books and prophets, right? It's nurtured and guarded and transmitted through women. Mothers were the first teachers of law, or laws, identity, language, covenant, and survival. The Bible consistently present women as vessels of remembrance and wisdom, especially within Israel. So God Yahweh created man in his own image. In the image of God Yahweh created he him, male and female. Created he them. You can find that in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. My son, hear the instructions of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. This verse alone established mothers as lawbearers, not merely caregivers. So we can talk about Eve, the mother of living, the foundational knowledge. Eve is called the mother of all living, while often misrepresented. Eve's role is deeply tied to awareness, discernment, and consequences. She represents the awakening of human consciousness. Her story introduced more knowledge, choice, and accountability. Through Eve, humanity learns that knowledge carries responsibility. Let's talk about Sarah and Hagar, mothers of nations and identity. Sarah was the mother of Isaac, Israel. It represents a covenant inherited and a lawful lineage. Teaches the importance of promise, timing, and divine order. Hagar, the mother of Ishmael. Hagar preserved knowledge of survival, exile, and divine recognition, a theme that resonates with the displaced people. Let's talk about this energy. Let's talk about this female energy. It's a cosmic principle present in all beings and systems, characterized by intuition, incubation, receptivity. Wow. Inner knowing, cycle and rhythm, nurturing and intelligent. Feminine energy, female power, these sisters, these mothers, they carry and bring forth. Creation does not occur through force alone. It requires a womb, whether physical, psychological, or spiritual. Across ancient systems, female energy is the field in which creations happen. The you, the hey, right? The yin, the yang. Oh, I guess I'm saying that right. But yeah, I know the you and the hey. The father and the mother. So, right, it receives the seed. It transforms potential into form. It sustains life after manifestation. Nothing becomes without passing through feminine principles. So the feminine energy, let me get my tongue right. This energy, the feminine energy, is associated with the earth, the water, the intuition, the subconscious, the moon, the night, and the silence. Brothers, we know about the silence and the cold treatments, right? Just throwing that in there. So masculine energy may build structures, but the feminine energy decides whether it lives. Feminine energy is knowledge. It's intuition, not forced. Embodied, not abstract. Women are oracle keepers, midwives of knowledge, dream interpreters, healers, memory holders. Knowledge was felt before it was spoken. And you got to have that balance there, you know. Male without female, domination and sterility. Female without male, chaos, diffusion. This is a true power is union. Nothing is born without a womb. Nothing endures without nurturing. And no civilization survives without honoring the female intelligence that carried it. When history talks about the Moors, it's almost always used in a masculine term. But that picture is incomplete because the Moorish civilization of Africans, Hebrew Israelites, Arabs did not just rise on the back of men alone. It rose through women. See, there were women that ruled territory, women who preserved sacred law, women who found learning institutions, organized libraries, taught the mathematics, taught the medicine, spiritual science, and poetry. Let's talk about this female warrior. Let's talk about Al-Kahina. Let's talk about her. You know, history tried to distort this. They tried to distort these female warriors. Scepter of Zion, we're going to straighten it back out. Okay? We're going to do that. But that name, Al-Kahina, meaning the priestess, the seer, the woman of sacred knowledge, the wise woman. Later, Arabic chronicles use this title because they recognized something important. She was not merely just a ruler. She had spiritual authority, a lawkeeper. But her given name is Dihaya. Dihaya. And here's where the truth becomes undeniable. Her name comes from the Semitic root Kohen, K-H-N, meaning priest in Hebrew. That's why they call it a priestess in Arabic. So this linguistic root alone strongly points to her Judean Israelite identity. Dihaya was a Hebrew Israelite queen who governed according to the Torah law. based on North African oral tradition, early Arabic chronicles, later compared to historical studies, the record shows that Dinya was a Hebrew Israelite queen. She practiced the Torah laws long before Maghreb. She stood in continuity with the Israelite communities that migrated west after Rome's destruction of Jerusalem in 70 CE. She was a Hebrew Israelite that ruled over this African nation. These Israelite communities she ruled over: Sanrianega, Numidia, and Urus Mountains. She ruled over this. Her title as a lawkeeper and a seer, not some kind of tribal chief. The Israelites was present in these areas in North Africa after 70 CE. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with some more information of Dihaya. Yeah, we'll be right back. Baby crying, that's us crying out for knowledge that's hidden. See, it's good to know these things, because if you don't know what was, you don't know what is. So, Dihaya, she was a sovereign ruler. She ruled a territory the size of modern eastern Algeria and western Tunisia combined. But in the ancient days, or ancient time, she ruled eastern Algeria, western Tunisia, and then part of Libya. I think I said that before I went to the break, but anyway, I'm saying it again so you get an idea. just how sovereign and how big an area was that she controlled. Let's talk a little bit about this queen, right? She was a fierce ruler and a fighter. She had one of the strongest resistance against Muslim expansion into North Africa. She defeated their armies multiple times. And she held this area for several years. She controlled strategic mountain passes for trade routes. She delayed their expansion westward into Iberia. And she unified the African Hebrew Israelites populations. She unified them under her leadership. This is something that was really, really critical. Especially delaying the expansion into Iberia, which was Spain and Portugal. So Al-Andalus did not emerge by like a simple conquest. African and Judean Israelites' authority existed long before, and then alongside them in negotiation. Talk about it. Talk it out. Let's talk it out. You keep defeating my armies. This queen, you are a sovereign ruler. I want to respect that. So let's talk about this. This is Islamic rule. Let's negotiate. So her resistance helped shape the political landscape. She did. That later led to these African forces to enter into Iberia with local support. See how you talked it out, worked it out? Let's talk about this. Diplomacy. So that's just one female, Dihaya. Remember her name. Then we got one more we're going to talk about. Let's move to another woman whose legacy is still standing. Still standing. Yeah, still to the. Her name is Fatima al-Faria. Right? She was African by land and lineage. She was born into a family from Africa. I think I'm saying it right. Africa. Sounds nasty, huh? No, so keep your mind out together. Any day is modern day Tunisia. Her family migrated west to Fez, which is modern day Morocco. At the time, this region was part of a deeply interconnected North African world. It was the African trade route. Judean Israelite communities were there. And it was an Arabic scholarly network. So she lived in this multicultural sacred civilization. And she founded these languages. This language, she helped put together this language. Oh, this name is funny. It's long. I think you call it Al-Qarawiyyin. Something like that. I'm gonna let her say it. You say it. Go ahead, girl.
Al-Qarawiyyin.
Who?
Al-Qarawiyyin.
Yeah, that's kind of a tongue twister for me. Al-Qarawiyyin. Okay, whatever. Okay. But in 1859 CE, Fatima founded this learning institution. This is the world's oldest continuously operating learning city institution. Not a university in latter Europe sense or European sense, but it consists of a mosque, multiple learning circles, a library, residential for scholars and traveling students. She taught mathematics, geometry, medicine, law, philosophy, theology, logic, music theory, astronomy-based timekeeping, lectures, debates, manuscript copying, apprenticeship for students and teachers to master. This was founded by a woman. It was founded by a woman. And then there's one more female we're going to talk about. Another one that was in the learning city or center or Cordoba. Lubna of Cordoba. She lived in Cordoba around the 10th century when Cordoba was in its heyday, at its height. She was a mathematician, a manuscript supervisor, a librarian. She was known for solving complex mathematical problems. She served in the Udamaya court. Udamaya is a funny name. She helped run Europe's greatest knowledge center. She proved that women were not just simply educated, but they had intellectual authority. Fascinating. Oh, and this next queen, she shaped intellectual freedom. She controlled her own wealth. She refused political marriage. You know, these arranged marriage. I need you to marry her so you can be important. She asserted female autonomy openly in her poetry. Men and women debated poetry, philosophy, politics. This was in the 11th century. Her name was Wadala bin al-Muscate. I know I'm probably not saying it right, but I'm close. So the Judean Israelite women, they were the silent backbone. Silent backbone. So these women of North Africa, Al-Andalus, Hebrew Israelite women were central. They were teachers, Hebrew scriptures, healers and midwives, mothers of scholars and scribes, poets and translators, patrons of learning circles in Cordoba, Toledo, Seville, Granada. They managed household academic, copied manuscripts, preserved Hebrew linguistic traditions, transmitted temple cosmology through poetry and teaching. They were an intellectual continuity. In Granada from the 13th to the 15th century, these women of Nazareth court sponsored poets, architects, and scholars. They preserved knowledge, as the year 1492 approached, facilitated manuscript movement into North Africa and the Ottoman world. Wow. They ensured that the Moorish knowledge did not die with Granada. While much of medieval Christian Europe increasingly restricted women to subordinate, domestic, or morally suspect role, Moorish civilization consistently elevated women across lineage, leaders, scholars, poets, institutional founders. These Hebrew Israelite women, African women, Arab women served as leaders and guardianship of the knowledge. These women ruled territories, preserved sacred law, organized libraries, taught science, guided spiritual life. They shaped this culture alongside men. It was feature of the civilization itself that these women played an important part. Cordoba would not have functioned. Libraries would have not organized. Learning centers would have not survived. Knowledge would have not passed forward. This is the truth of Al-Andalus, North Africa. History tried to erase this. The Scepter of Zion bring it right to you. Remember to like, share, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. Remember, you lit from that flame. Stay rooted in resilience. Hold on to your highest idea and enjoy your highest reward. Thank you for walking this path with me. This is the Scepter of Zion. Shalom Aleichem. Until next week, be safe, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Scepter of Zion. If something stirred your spirit, sparked a memory, or whispered truth into your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, speak it, walk in it. We invite you to invite others into the conversation, into the unfolding. This is more than a podcast. It's a movement returning to the root and rising with the call. Until next time, hold the line, guard the flame, and never forget who you are, because the kingdom isn't coming. It's already here and rising, one voice at a time.
You've been listening to The Scepter of Zion, a Kingdom of Shalom production. Subscribe, share, and join us as Zion rises again.